So first we have covered Python, right? Right. So in Python, we completed everything from basics level, from basic concepts to the advanced level, right? Hope everyone agrees to this that we have completed from basics to advanced, right? Right. After that, once the Python was over, right, 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 we completed the Python. Then we moved, right. Then we moved towards data toolkit, right? Data toolkit. Data Toolkit was the last module that we have completed. In Data Toolkit, we completed NumPy, Pandas, 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 and visualization in detail. We have completed everything here. Right. What are the things pending from my side? Right. Pending from my side. There are a few things that I will be giving you guys. Assignments related to data toolkit. I have provided assignments related to Python, but data analysis assignment I have not provided. Right. So I have to provide you assignments related to NumPy, Pandas, Pandas, and visualization. I will be providing you guys this assignments. That is something pending from my side. EDA, Pius, I had already told you guys that I have designed this in such a way that once this assignment is done, then I will complete SQL. See, SQL. By that time, you will be forgetting this NumPy Pandas visualization. I am 100% sure, right? Actually, this particular thing you will be solving while I will be teaching SQL, and then I will move to statistics, right? By statistics, I am 100% sure that 90% of the students, right, here in the class will forget the pandas function and all. So my idea would be, after statistics, after the practical implementation of statistics, I will jump to EDA here, and then I will start with machine learning, then machine learning projects, so that you guys can actually, right, start applying. Here end to end projects are expected. Parallelly, two three things I will be covering: APIs, Flask, right, and SQL project. These things are pending. That is my responsibility, that I will be completing whenever I wish to, right? So don't worry about that. But API, Flask I will be completing. SQL project also I will be completing, right? So that is my idea, and that's why I am starting with SQL, right? That's the idea. So what is the agenda of today's class? Agenda of today's class is to start with introduction to database, introduction to database, introduction to database, and MySQL. Database, database, and MySQL. This is your agenda. Now you must be thinking, in how many class I am planning to complete it. So I am planning to complete it in at least 5 to 6 class. It doesn't mean that all the classes will be on weekends. Some classes I will also take in weekdays. So you don't need to worry about that, because already I have given you around 6 7 classes of holiday. I will make up that, and that's my responsibility. I will also not hurry. No need to worry about that. If I have to hurry, where I will hurry? I will hurry in the topics that will be a sort of revision topics. So for example, EDA, we will be completing EDA, but already we have seen EDA in pandas also to some extent. So maybe in this EDA, what I will do, let's say 6 EDA in weekend class and 2 EDA on weekday class. Some that sort type of arrangement I will do. So you don't need to worry about that, sir. Will you hurry? And anyway, uh, you don't need to worry about anything. If required, I will repeat again and again same thing. So you don't need to worry about that. Hope you guys are on the same page. No one has any problem. No one has any questions to ask. Everyone is on the same page. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Quickly. Right. Right. Should we start now? Should we start? Right. Should we start, everyone? Very good. Very good. First of all, I am not sure how many of you have studied SQL, or how many of you actually know about data space. Right. I am pretty much sure that many of you might be knowing about the database, right? And must be knowing about the database, in a very good way, right? Uh, right, right, right. So, uh, can I get some idea how many of you are aware about the sequel quickly? Right? Jyoti says me, right? Theoretical knowledge only. Me, very good. Very good, right? Just a DBMS theory. Yes, I studied. Very good. So, many of you people have studied, right? Not a problem. But you might have faced one problem that I also faced in my college days, right? First of all, to make you guys understand the importance of DVMS, or let's say SQL. So DVMS and SQL, these are two different things. Don't get confused about that both of these are the same thing. I will just explain everything in detail, so you don't need to worry about that. But this is the first thing, that both are two different things, right? Right, both are two different things. But one thing that I will say again and again, and I have been repeating this in many of the classes wherever I have taken the sequel, that right, right, that people don't give more priority in understanding the basics of SQL. They just think that SQL is all about writing queries. Not a problem. Not a problem. But similar to pandas, right? So I'm assuming that if today someone asks you any questions on pandas, you will just be able to do it in a very, very short period of time. Similarly, same type of command you should have while using SQL. Now you must be confused that, sir, why are you mixing two things? Right. So to make you understand, right, right, right. To make you guys understand, right, this in more detail, I will go to a very important concept of data life cycle, and this is very very interesting. Data life cycle, and I am going to teach you guys everything in detail. Today you might get bored. I thought a lot that, can I skip this part, can I skip this part? The only thing that came in my mind, that let's not skip anything. Even if learners sleep in the class, let it be, but try to complete everything. So I am going to complete everything, even if it is boring. So today there will not be a lot of practical classes, but I promise that there will be a lot of practical classes, right? So basically, what is my agenda? How I will deal with SQL? SQL, I will start with first database. I will introduce you what is the database. Then I will start with the basic SQL query. Basic query. I will start with this, and then I will move to advanced query, or let's say advanced commands, and then after that I am going to have case study 1 and case study 2. So don't worry about the practical implementation. I will cover everything, right? So first of all, let's start with data life cycle. So I'll start with the data life cycle. So just right here, data life cycle. So you will be surprised to see one image. So I will just go towards this image, right? So where is this image? Okay, so let's see this image. I'm not uh, sure about that. Let it be, right. Very good. This is some image I was looking at. So I will just copy this image and just paste it, right? So I will just paste it. So I'll paste it here, right? Right. So let's look at this. Oh, this image is not so good. Maybe I have to just take another image. Not a problem. I will take another image. Mhm. Data uses very good. So I'll take this image. This image looks very good. So this is the image. I am just putting it, right. Right. So here, if you see data lifecycle management stages, right, right. So here, if you see, the first step you see is the data creation. So you create some data. Now, how will you create the data? Just think it. How will you create the data? Right, right, right. How will you create the data? If I ask you to think, how will you create the data? Just think it. Maybe some survey, maybe some survey, right? How will you create data, guys? Maybe survey, maybe some through internet, right? When you visit website, when you scroll down, when you scroll up, right? You will create the data, right? Right? Maybe some sort of research, research or study, you will create the data. That's not a problem, you will create the data. The main thing starts, right? The main thing starts, what will happen after creating the data? What will happen after you create the data, right? So you have to store it somewhere. Storage of the data, storage of the data, right? Storage of the data, right? You have to store some data. But why you want to store the data, right? For that, again, you have some other flow, right? Right. Some other flow that I have been talking a lot of time. Anyone remember the data pipeline, the data collection, the data analysis? Anyone? Right, 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 right. Very good, Sajil. Very good, Sajil. So crisp DM framework. So if you just google it out, the crisp DM framework, then you will realize this particular image. I have been talking about this images, this particular image, right, many times. So if you just see it here, right, if you see it here, then we have, why this blurred image again, why this is blurred image, why this is blurred image, why this is blurred image. So I'll just copy this. So copy image, right, 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 copy image. So if you see it here, you will, oh my gosh, this is not acceptable, this is not acceptable, right? And I hate this. So copy image, I have copied the image, and let's see it. Very good, now it's visible, now it's visible, right? Oh, alas. So again, this is a problem. But anyway, I will explain you. So this is your business understanding. So if you see this image, right, this is your business understanding. Business understanding. Business understanding. Right? Right? Business understanding. And this is your data understanding. Data understanding. Right? But the question is, this business understanding and data understanding about the data, when it is possible, when it is possible, whenever you have collected data. So the first step is collection of the data. And as discussed earlier, how you collect the data? Using survey, using internet, using some research, using some study, right? Right. So the what is the first step of data life cycle? So can I write something like this? The first step is data creation or data collection. How you create the data? Data collection, right? Data collection. Data collection is done using survey, using internet, right? Using some studies, using some software, using some research, right? Using some research. This is the way you collect the data. And once the data is collected, what will happen? Once the data is collected, you have to store the data. That is your data storage. Now the question is, why do we store the data? Please, again, I am re-repeating this. This is the part of data life cycle. But you store the data because after this data storage starts the step that is very, very important for business. That is crisp DM framework. That is your machine learning pipeline or data analysis pipeline or your data preparation, modeling, or model building and deployment. Again, I will repeat, data life cycle, one thing. Crisp, Another thing. What is data life cycle? Collection of data and storing of data. There are other things as well, like data usage, data archiving, data destruction, other things as well. But once the data is stored, then you utilize the data in the crispdium framework that involves of business understanding, data preparation, so that the models can be created. And once the model is created, it will be used for once the model is created, it will be used for business revenue. That is the understanding. Is it clear? Everyone, is it clear? Yes or no? If not, let me know. I will repeat it again. But this is very easy to understand. Is it clear, everyone? Right? So far, is it clear? Theory, but very important to understand the basics. If you don't understand the basics, then no point. You will not understand anything in long run. Right? 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 Right. Now, moving ahead, very good, very good, very good. But the question is, why database? Why database? Right. The question is, fine, we have understood a little bit of introduction, but why database? That's the question. Why we are going to study this? Right. Is there any, uh, you know, is there any Monjulika coming and killing you to study database? Right. Why database? Right. Very good. Rajkumar says to store the data. That's fine. But why do we study database? Why it is so important? Right. To make you understand the importance of database, what I am going to do, I am just going to show you some internal working of my website. So let's say I went to www.careercraftpro.com. Right. So let's say this is my website. So careercraftpro.com. I went to this website. Right. Very good. Not a problem. It will just take some time, I guess. Right. But yes, this is my website. Very good. Not a problem. Now see, this is something that you are able to look at. Right. You see this web page. Very good. You see this web page. Now, now, see what I'm going to do it. Now I will just click on enroll for rupees something like this. So I want to enroll for this course, Advanced Certification Program in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. Now I will go for buy now. Right. I have clicked on buy now, and then I have to pay this. Proceed. I will pay it. Right. But I'm not going to pay it now. But anyway, I will go and click and pay it. That's completely fine. Not a big deal. But there are involvement of two things. First, everyone agrees that there is a front end which is saying you to click it here, or to go to this, or to navigate to buy now for 4,999. Everyone agrees to this or not? First time you opened careercraftpro.com, right? Let's say first time you opened this, right? Then you went for enroll for rupees this, then you got navigated to this page, then again you go on buy now for this. Then what is guiding you to do so? Can I say the front end is guiding you to do so? Yes or no? Everyone agrees to this or not? Everyone agrees to this or not? Right? 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 Front end is guiding you to do so. Right? Very good. Not a problem. So, let's assume that someone has done like this. Now I will go to dashboard. See this. Now this is not visible to you guys. This is not visible to you guys, right? Now I will click to users. Right. Now if someone is actually clicking on that, doing the enrollment, right, then all the details is here. See, some Karpagam, this Gmail, last login this, joined on this. I have all the details. Let's say Adelina is there, Sinhasis Dutta is there, Pranav is there, Sejal is there with all the dates and login. Obviously, this is not visible to you. This is visible to me. But can I say this is some sort of data? Yes or no? Everyone. Right? Right. Interesting or not? Similarly, let's say here I will go to products. Right. See here, there are 129 enrollments. Can I say this is some sort of data here? If I go to this course builder, right, you will find a lot of things here, right? A lot of things here. And these are the things, right? These are the things, right, that you see on your dashboard, right? If I add a new chapter, you will be able to see that there. What is this? This is nothing but at the back end, you have stored some data. So, can I write it here that, can I write it here that front end, now back end? Front end, course detail. Let's say course details. Course details. Now, how did you look at the course detail? Because I had put some detail, right? Then you were able to look at it, right? Then what is backend? Right, all the details, all the data, all the data. Now, if someone has visited the web page, the data is stored at the backend, and then this data can be utilized for analysis. And all of this, right, career craft, career craft, analogy, right, analogy. And all of this has one common thing that we can call it as database, right? Some course details is stored at some database. That's why you are able to look at it, right? Someone clicked, the information is stored in some database, then again there is database. If you are analyzing this data, again it is stored, then it is a database, right? Right. Again, database is involved in it. So this is the understanding. Isn't it fun, guys? Just say me. Isn't it fun? And that's why the database is actually very, very, very important to study. Is very important to study. Right? 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 So why database is important? Why database is important? Why database is important? Why database is important? Important. Important. Because very simple. Everything generates the data. Everything generates the data. Everything generates data, and you need something to store the data. Need something to store the data. Need something to store the data. To store the data, and to store the data, you need database. Database. What is database? You don't need to worry about that. I will talk about the database in detail, but this is little bit information of why database is important, right? If you talk about computers, right, computers, it generates data. If you talk about internet, it generates data. If you talk about air conditioners, AC, it generates data. If you talk about cricket match, right, right, it generates the data, right, right. If you talk about AI, it generates the data, right. Everything generates the data. And to store this data, you need a database. Now, what is database? I will talk about this. No need to worry about that, right? But so far, so good. All my tiger and tigress, lion and lioness. Is it clear so far? Everyone, yes or no? Right, right, right. Very good, very good, very good. You guys are enjoying. Very good. Now again comes, what is the formal definition of database? Can anyone define database? What is the formal definition of database? Right, right. Anyone? Right. Anyone? Right, right, right. Anyone who can define database quickly? Right, 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 right. Can I see a database? A database, a database is a software. Software is a software. A database is a software. Yes or no? Very good. Right, right, right. No. Many of you actually answers this. This is not correct. I will explain you why. There's slight difference. Right. This slightly database is different. So that is called as DBMS. Software is DBMS, right? Not database. If you have to define database, right? If you have to define database, so very easy, I will explain. A database is a shared collection of collection of logically related related data and description of this data, description of these data, right. So description of this data is metadata. And why it is so? Designed to meet the information need of a business, information need of a institution, information needs of an institution institution or business. What is the meaning of this? Right, right. What is the meaning of this? Right. So a database is a shared collection of logically related data. What is the meaning of logically related data? You don't need to worry about that. I will talk about this in detail. Logically related data. Just as of now, that think that there is no word logically related. Think that a database is a collection of data. And what is this description of this data? Means metadata. Metadata. Simple. What is the meaning of this? You don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about this. In other words, same thing can be defined in a more simple way. More simple way. Widely you will find on internet. Right. A database, a database, database is an organized, organized, right, collection of collection of structured 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 information information information, right, information, data, information or data. So information and data is same thing. Typically, typically, typically. See here, I am using word typically. Stored electronically in a computer system. Electronically in a computer system. In a computer system. But not always that electronically stored data is a database. No, it can be a you know a, a hard copy as well. A book is a database. Let's say this is a book, right? This is a database. Simple. You can consider this, right? So this is the understanding. This is a little bit definition of database. Right. But again, right, right, right. Rajkumar says, sir, that was mithai ka dabba. No, actually, that's not a mithai ka dabba. That's you know uh, some small cute uh, idol actually. Okay. Anyway, so now, so a database is an organized collection of structured information or data typically stored electronically in a computer system. Fine, not a problem, good enough to understand the definition. But now the question is, right, right, right. What is the meaning of logically related data? What is the meaning of shared collection? What is description of this data? What is organized? What is structured information? In both of these definition, there are n number of questions. And that is what we have to understand. Right, 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 right. What is the meaning of this? Right? And be very much sure here that we have not entered into SQL. We have not entered into MySQL. We are just talking about the database as of now. And mostly this whole class will be dedicated to database. Right, right. Now first question. We have understood the database, right? We have understood why database is important, right? But what are the features of database? Features of the database. Features of the database. So let's try to understand first features of database, and then slowly you will realize that we have covered everything about the things that we haven't discussed. First thing about features of database is data storage. Data storage, right? Data storage, right? So what does database do? Right. It stores the it stores large amount of structured data. Again, this was coming again and again. What is structured data? I will come about this. I will talk about this. So it stores large amount of structured data, right? And make it easily accessible, accessible, searchable, searchable, and retrievable, right? Or retrievable, whatever you want to say, retrievable, right? Now, what is the meaning of this? So basically, guys, what happens? There are two types of data. Data is of two types. First one is structured and unstructured. Second one is unstructured. Now, what is the meaning of this structured and unstructured? The structured data is nothing the data which is stored in a form of table, or tabular data is structured data. Simple. Then you must be thinking, what is unstructured data? Simple audio, video, some sort of paragraph text, right, right, right. These all are unstructured. It is debatable. Someone might say that text can be also a structured data. Yes, it can be. So I'll just remove this from here. It might be, it is debatable. But audio and video, images, right, images, now you have to actually convert this image to some numbers to store in a tabular format. But again, this is a native unstructured data. That is fine, but there is a problem in this definition. The definition says it stores the large amount of structured data, makes it easily accessible, searchable, and retrievable. Now the question is that database only stores this structured data? What happens to unstructured data? Is it that unstructured data is killed by Monjolika? Right? What happens to unstructured data? Can't be unstructured data stored? Say it. Can't we store unstructured data? That's the question. Right, 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 right. Can't we store unstructured data? Everyone? Right, right. Yes, the unstructured data can also be stored, right? We can also store unstructured data, right? Right. So, unstructured data, to store unstructured data, we need to have the understanding of NoSQL database. NoSQL databases. What are these? You don't need to worry about that. I will talk about this at a later stage. But, but, right, right. As of now, data is of two types: structured, unstructured. Structured data is that data which is in a tabular format, and database management system, or let's say database, is used to store this structured data. First thing. Second thing, that the data which are stored in database can also be analyzed. So data analysis is also possible. Data analysis is also possible in database. So a database can also perform complex data analysis. Complex data analysis. This is also possible. Again, few basic more features, right? Right. So database is also helpful in providing the data to the web applications. So web applications. So if you just open the websites, right, you will find a lot of data. Right, 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 right. So for dynamic content and user management and user management. What is the meaning of this? Right. What is the meaning of this? So if you remember, I had talked about this, that if you just go to this website, right? If you just go to the website, right? If you go to this website, now if you scroll up, see here, this was dynamic, right? See here, this is dynamic, right? This is dynamic, right? Right. How did you arrived at this, right? How are you able to see this dynamic thing? How? Actually, it is retrieving all of these things from a database. That's it, right? Rajkumar asked, what is the meaning of complex data analysis means? Some complex structure in the data that you are not able to see manually or with your naked eye, right? Any pattern in the data, simple, like group by, let's say. Right? If you go ahead and start doing manually, it will take hours to do, right? Right. This is third web application for dynamic content and user management. Now the fourth one is simple, keeping the data or record keeping, right? Record keeping. So that's why record keeping simply means to track important records, to track important records, important records, and virgin and virgin and virgin. This is the understanding, right? This is the understanding. Yes or no? Everyone? Yes or no? Right? Everyone so far so good? Quickly. Right? 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 Now, again, again, I will come to this definition. Now, let's see it. A database is a shared collection of logically related data and description of this data designed to meet the information needs of institution or business. This is first definition. And second one is a database is a collection of structured information. First of all, is it clear now what is database? A organized collection of structured information. Now, as to make you understand again all of these things, I will write one example, and I will create this. Don't need to worry about this. No need to worry about this. But let's say example. I have created a database called movie. Movie is the name of database. So let's say this is the name of database. Right? Movie is the name of database. This is the first thing. Right? Now see it carefully. This is going to be very interesting. Now in this movie, let's say there is one, right, table like this, and this table has movie name, movie name. Then we have director, and let's say we have actor, right? 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 This is movie name, director, anchor. Sorry, actor. Right? And this I will just write this table name. I will write it as maybe some table name. Maybe this is movie details, or let's say movies details, right? Movies details. Now again we have another table, right? 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 Another table, right? See it carefully. Here I will write movies, movies earning, earning. So maybe I will write again movie name, and here let's say I will write, right, right, total earning, total earning, and production cost, production cost. Right. Again, we have a third table. We have a third table, something like this. Right. In this third table, I will write movie. Let's say maybe movie cast. Right. So movie name, and here I will write cast one, cast two, cast three, and so on, cast four. Right. Now see it carefully. First of all, this is the name of a database called movie. Here we have three tables. First table is movie details, second table is movie earning, and the third table is movie cast. So far, so good. Everyone, yes or no? Till here, anyone has any problem? Now answer me one very simple question. Right? Very simple question. If I want to know which director's movie has the highest earning, can I get it? Question is, which directors movie has highest earning? Highest earning. Can I get this or not? Everyone? Yes, we can get it. How will you get it? Very simple. Here you have movie name. Here also we have movie name. It simply means this table, and this table is related to each other, right? And then, right? Then, can I say if these two tables are related, then we can have some sort of join and then see which director has total earning? Yes or no? Yes or no? Everyone. Simple thing. Will not complicate anything here. It is very simple. Now the question is, if you see the definition again, logically related data. Can I say these two tables are logically related? Yes or no? I will repeat again the I will again repeat the question. Can I say these two tables, movie details and movie earnings, are logically related? Yes or no? Everyone, yes or no? Right, right. Obviously, it is logically related. Similarly, third table is also logically related. And all of these three tables has some sort of metadata, and that is this movie detail or column name. This is the details of the data. So all three tables are logically related. Simple. Right, right, right. Table name table name and column names are metadata. Simple. And now, if you see the definition again, you will understand everything now. A database is a shared collection. Shared collection means multiple tables, right? That can be shared with different people, right? Right. So a database is a shared collection of logically related data and description of this data. That is metadata. Already we have this metadata, right? Right. Designed to meet the information needs of an institution or business. Now, if someone wants, let's say I am a Dharma production. I am Dharma production. I am some production house. I want to make a movie with the director which has the highest total earning. Then this is a business need. I will go to the database. I will find the movie details, movie earning, and movie cast. Three tables in the database movie and try to analyze and give the result that this director is the best director. Why shared collection? Shared collection, it means simply that if I am a CEO of some production house and someone is the director in that production house, we both can access this particular database. That's why it is called as shared collection. So multiple people can actually access the same information together. This is the definition of a database. I doubt I have seen a lot of YouTube videos also, but people just try to teach the definition without explaining what is the meaning of this. Shared collection, multiple users. Logically related data, it means relation between the data. Description of this data means metadata, and why it is there, why this is so much of thing needed to solve any business need or to solve any business problem. Clear? Yes or no? Everyone. Yes or no, guys? Quickly. Everyone. Yes or no? Anyone has any questions to ask so far? Quickly. Right? Right? I'm not hearing yes or no. Am I audible, guys? Right? Right? Very good. Very good. Very good. Right? Right? No any question? Very good. Right? Right? But now the question is, fine, this is a database. Database is used for by front end people, by back end people, by data analytics, data scientists. Fine. Right. 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 Now the question is, what should be an ideal database? Let's say I also play cricket. You guys also play cricket. But who should be the ideal cricketer? I am a student. Tushar is a student. Manav is a student. But who should be an ideal student? Ideal student should be one who wakes up maybe in early morning, right? Studies 2 3 hours, then have some exercise, breakfast, again come back for study for the whole day. Right? This is some ideal student. Definition of ideal student. It can vary, right? It is subjective. In a similar way, what is the property of ideal database? Properties of a ideal database. What are the properties of ideal database? This is the next question. This is the next question. Unlimited storage. Yes, it. Very good. Very good. Right. The first thing I would suggest is supports CRUD. CRUD means create, R means retrieve, U means update, and D means delete. What? As of now, understand it as data. There is technical term for this. I will slowly come to that. That is called as rows, fields. I will talk about everything. But as of now, just understand create, retrieve, update, delete. What? In the database. This is the first thing that a database should supports should support, right? If a database doesn't support this, right, right, right. If a database doesn't support this, there is no use of database. Obviously, you can just say that Some database might not support delete option. That is completely fine. But most of the database, the ideal database, should actually supports these four things. This is the first thing. Second, many people have written acid. Right. I will talk about this acid. Right. I will talk about this acid. Right. Right. So let's talk about acid now. Actually, I had no plan to talk about acid. I was thinking to put this in other word, but let's see. Acid. Right. A stands for atomicity. 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 Right. C stands for consistency. Consistency. I stands for isolation. Isolation. And D stands for durability. Durability. What are the meaning of this? We'll talk about this in detail. Right. So, what is atomicity? Right. Atomicity means atoms. Atoms plus city, let's say. This is atomicity. What is the atoms? Can anyone define me what is the atom? What is atom? What is atom? If you guys remember, right, right. Everyone has forget here. Right. Smallest unit of an object. Very good, Tushar. Basic constituent of an element is atom. Right. Right. So, similarly, in atomicity says, right, the entire transaction means transaction as of now understand crude, create, retrieve, update, and delete. So, entire transaction takes place takes place at once takes place at once take place at once or doesn't at all happen at all. What is the meaning of this? So basically, every crude operation, whatever you do, happens in a unit or in an atom or together in one go. So let's assume that you are retrieving any information from database. Retrieve means getting the information from any database. Right? So all the information will be given to you in one go. Entire transaction simply means act of getting data or act of creating data, act of updating data, act of deleting data will happen in one go at once or it will not happen at all. This is your atomicity. The first thing. Second, consistency. What is consistency? The database, the database must be consistent, right? Before and after the transaction. Before and after the transaction. Transaction again simply means, right, right. Transaction means crude. Assume it is crude. You are retrieving some information. You are updating some information. Dating some information. So database must be consistent before and after the transaction. What is the meaning of this? Right. The basic structure will not be compromised of a database. This is the consistency. Meaning, let's say here we have let's say class, and let's say here marks, right? So let's say here again you added two rows, one row, two row. So here let's say 12 rows, 12 rows. Here we have 12 rows, and let's say 13th row you have added, 14th row you have added. This is your transaction, right? But the structure of the database, that is your class and marks, this consistency will remain same. This will not be affected by the two rows that you have added. Is it clear? A and C? Yes or no? Everyone, A or C is clear, right? 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 Yes or no? Everyone, everyone, I want to hear yes or no from everyone, right? Yes or no, guys, quickly, right? I'm not able to see the chat, I guess, but anyway. Mhm. Very good, very good. This is the understanding. Then what is isolation? What is isolation? Right, right. Isolation is also interesting. Isolation simply means isolation simply means that multiple transactions, multiple transactions occurs independently, independently, right? Without interference, without interference. What is the meaning of this? Again, this is very interesting. So let's say here one database is there, movie database. All the table are there. Table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4. Ajit comes or Aditya comes. He is getting caste information. Again, let's say Tushar comes, he is getting earning information. Maybe let's say Santanu comes, he is getting the director's information. All of these transactions, all of these operations can happen independently. These Santanu transactions or operations will not affect Aditya operations, or Aditya operation will not affect Tushar operations until and unless you change the database. That's the understanding of isolation. Yes or no? Everyone is clear. Quickly, right? Right. Adanaska says, what is the difference between isolation and atomicity? Very easy. Either you do, atomicity means either you do, right? Right. Commit, you do, or abort. Right. Right. Simple. If you have said that change, it will be changed or it will not be changed. The changes will be visible or the changes will not be visible. But when it comes to isolation, it simply means that if Atanaska is running some query and Santanu is running some query, then Atanaska query will not affect Santanu's query, or Atanaska operation will not affect Santanu's operation if, until and unless, you have not changed or modified the database itself. This is the difference. If you want to understand it in more detail, I can talk about again with an example. Let's say here you use Razor Pay or Stripe. Razor Pay or Stripe, right? For what? Or let's say PayPal. PayPal for a transaction. PayPal for transaction. PayPal for the transaction. Now, what will happen? is also doing the transaction, right? Santanu is also doing the transaction, right? Let's say Tushar is also doing transaction, right? Atanaska transaction will not affect Santanu's transaction. Santanu's transaction will not affect Tushar transaction. These all three are independent. So this is called as isolation. Isolation. And let's say if Atanaska transaction with this Razor Pay or bank has been done, right? Has been done, right? Has been done. So this will be atomicity for Atanaska. Transaction done or not done. This is the understanding. Similarly, Santanu, if the transaction has been done or not done, that will be the atomicity for Santanu. This is the difference. Is it clear? Everyone, yes or no? Right? Right. Now the next thing is durability. So far, so good. Hope you guys are understanding this. Now, last thing is durability of this asset property. Right. Right. So changes of a successful transaction occurs 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 even if the system failure occurs. What is the meaning of this? Even if the database crashes, or even if something happens, if the system fails, the transaction done is done. Let's say, right, right, right. Atanaska has enrolled for the course. She paid some amount of money to me through Razorpay. Now, even if Razorpay doesn't survive or Razorpay is gone in next few months, still the money sent by Atanaska will remain with me. It will not be reversed. Right? It will not be reversed. Is it clear? Yes or no? Everyone? Right? Right? Rishabh says no, sir. Rishabh, very simple, yaar. Rishabh, it is very simple. You gave me some money, 20 rupees through Sada, let's say. Now, even if Sada leaves this country and settles down in US, right, still you will not get your money back because you have paid to me, right? Right. Similarly, let's say here we have Ajay, here we have database, and let's say here maybe uh, let's say Sada, right? Ajay sent some money, right, through some let's say application, application. Let's say PayPal. And here Sada, in Sada's account, he received the money. Let's say $100. Now, even this bank or application gets closed, this money will not be again reversed. Simple. It will not be reversed at any cost. This is your, you know, this is your durability that with respect to different time frame, your transaction will still persist. Simple. Got it? Yes or no? Everyone. These are the two things. Third, very important. This is mixture of two important property. Integrity. Integrity means right accurate plus consistency. There will not be any calculation mistake in very simple words. Right, right. Accurate doesn't mean that. Accurate means that whatever you are adding in the database, it should be as it is. The structure will not change. Consistency means Even if I see or Sada see, the data will remain same. So let's say here, let's say class 8, marks is 102. It will be seen by, right, Ajay, and it will be seen by Sada in same order, in same fashion, with same values. This is your integrity. Next is availability, right? Availability. Availability means it is always available 24 into 7. What is the meaning of this? You might not have seen ever that, WhatsApp is down or something is down. Obviously, there are some crashes of WhatsApp, there are some crashes of Facebook, but it is rare. But generally, 24 into 7, the database is available. That's the ideal properties of a database. Is it clear? Yes or no? Everyone? Yes or no? Guys, let's take 5 minutes of break. Right? These are something that you have seen. Right? So, with interview perspective, right? What happens as a fresher? Most of the time, people actually don't understand what is database. They will straight jump to the SQL because SQL is a query. MySQL, you start writing query in SQL, right? Something happens like that. But people doesn't understand the difference between database, SQL, and MySQL. People doesn't understand the difference between these three, right? In next part, we are going to dive deep again into database, try to understand the difference between all of those three, and then we will start with some basic SQL query. That would be, you know the agenda of this next part of the class. One more thing, uh, guys, I have prepared one very very good assignment related to SQL. That is on movie data set, right? 20 to 25 questions will be there. I have created 15 questions so far. And all of these 25 questions or 20 25 questions, whatever questions will be there, right? It will be of advanced level. So that if you solve these questions, right, anytime, right, then you will not need to revise anything else. So that would be my thought process, right? So let's start. So now we have understood what are the, you know properties of ideal database. Now I will also go ahead. What is some advantage of the database, right? Because obviously you will ask questions. Ajay, sir, right, right. Ajay, already we have the database, right, right, right. Mainak says, sir, SQL data is yes, yes, Mainak, yes, right. I will deliver more than what I have promised. So don't worry. So now the question is, Ajay, we have already Excel. We already have CSV files. Then why database? That's the question, right? Right. Obviously, you can say that this, we have a SQL, we have a CSV file. Let's say this is a superstore data. If you see, we have this SQL file. If we have this SQL file, right? Sorry, SQL I'm saying. If we have this Excel file, then why do we need database? That's the most important question. Why do we need database? Right? Why do we need database? The first thing is more storage than spreadsheet. How many of you know that Excel file or CSV file have some limitations? Anyone has any idea how many rows you can put? Very good, Pius. He says 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs and 16 lakhs somewhere. I have used till 16 lakhs. I might be wrong, but 10 to 10.5 lakhs or 16 lakhs, some limitations is there. But in database, you don't have any limitation. This is the first thing. Second, storage is more more secure. Storage is more secure. Third thing, very very important, right? Too easy, for easy retrieval, for easy retrieval. I don't know, but you might have observed, if there are more than 10 lakhs of rows, if you open any Excel sheet or perform any calculation, it will be very very tough, right? Very good, Pius has given the exact number. Next, to maintain relationship. Very good, Sada. To maintain relationship. All the joins search is easily doable in SQL. In Excel, if you want to look at different values, you have to use H lookup, V lookup, and people who have used that knows how tough or how you know uh, problematic is that. Right? I really don't like that. X lookup also. That's the understanding. Very good. Not a problem. Very good. So till now, what we have seen. So if I start, right, we have seen a very, very important theoretical things, right? Where this database comes into the picture, why database is important, what is database, what are the features of the database, right? What are the properties of database? But there are different types of database as well. And from here onwards, I will explain you what is database, what is database management system, what is SQL, what is MySQL. Every four thing, it will be crystal clear. But let me know how many of you knows the exact difference between all of these four things. Just comment yes or no. Or you also use these terms interchangeably. Sometimes DBMS, sometimes database, sometimes SQL, sometimes MySQL. Any one of you knows exact difference between all of these four things? Anyone? Just let me check it out. How many of you knows exact things? Because see, database is taught in every engineering branch, irrespective of engineering stream, irrespective of college. It is taught everywhere, right? Right. Anyone knows the exact difference between all these four five things? Anyone? Yes or no? No one? Not a problem. Not a problem. I am here to explain you guys. I am here. So types of database. But before moving to the types of database, let me just take 2 minutes and talk to everyone. Pius, are you facing any problem in understanding? Ataneska, Sada, Tushar, Manak, Manav. Do you guys have any questions till now? Rajkumar, Daksh, Sajil. Sajil, are you facing any problem? Tanya, Tushar, Rishabh, Jyoti, Aditya, Asutosh, Gaurav, Kailas. It's not class, it is like Kalas IS. Santanu, Rishabh, Survi, Adeline, Rishikesh, Suraj, Aman, Ashraf, Ansari, right? Jagdeep Singh. Are you guys any facing any problem? No one? No one facing problem? Okay, okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now comes the types of database. Very important with respect to interview perspective. First, very important with respect to basic clearance or basic concept, understanding the basic concept in a very crystal clear way. So we are going to look at this, right? So there are majorly 5 6 types. We will start, right, majorly 5, actually majorly 5. The first type of databases that we already have seen is Relational database. Relational database. What is this relational database? Right, right, right. Very easy. Relational database uses a relational model, relational model, relational model to organize data into tables, tables, rows, and columns. What is the meaning of this? Right? What is the meaning of this? Actually, we have seen this example. We already have seen this example. Let's say we had this movies database, and here we have movies info, and here we have cast info, right? Both of these are related to each other with a column called movie name, movie name, and here also movie name, right? Here also movie name. This is called as relational database. This is relational database because there are relations between the tables, right? Right, right, right. So, uses a relational model to organize data into tables, rows, and columns. Right. What type of relationship? Right. Obviously, there are some primary keys, there are some foreign keys. That is a separate thing. We'll come to that slowly. But there is some sort of relationship among the tables, right? And that database is called as relational database. Example, 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 SQL, SQL. Another example, let's say SQL Server, right? Another example, Oracle, Postgre, right? Right. Microsoft Access, Microsoft Access, MySQL. All of these are actually example of relational database. All of these examples are all of these are examples of relational database. This is the understanding, right? Right. This is the understanding. Right. Now, obviously, if this is relational, the examples that we have seen is relational, then what are the other data types? Right. So there we have another database type. Don't say non-relational. No, you don't say that it is a non-relational, right? Because this relational database is also called as SQL database. SQL database, right? It is also called as SQL database. Similarly, this is relational database, deals with some tabular data. Then the database which doesn't deal with the relational database, that we call it as NoSQL. It is called as SQL database. Here we call it as NoSQL database. Database. This is used to handle large amounts of unstructured data, unstructured or semi-structured data, semi-structured data. Example, example, documents, images, images, and so on, and so on. And what is the example of database? MongoDB. Here, we just write example of database, MongoDB. That's the understanding. Right. Right. This is the second type of database. Now, moving ahead, third type of database. So, one more comment. Mostly, we understand the SQL database or relational database. We will be focusing on MySQL. That is a SQL database. That is a relational database. Right? Why no SQL or why not another database? Because if you understand one database, the other database are not that tough to understand. Because what I think that database is a concept. You need to be strong in some theory part and some practical aspect. And if you have command over one database, then other database is very easy and very easy to understand, very easy to implement. Right? Right. Right. Tanya asks, what is candidate key? Don't worry, I will discuss the candidate key as well. Right. Right. So there are different types of key, Tanya. You are asking about only candidate key. There is primary key, there is foreign key, there is composite key, there is candidate key. Right. All of these keys I will discuss today or in the next class. You don't need to worry about that. But let's focus on this here. So what is NoSQL database? Large amount of unstructured or semi-structured data is stored in NoSQL database. For example, documents, image, and so on. MongoDB is one of the example of NoSQL database. Do you need to know NoSQL, MongoDB? Right, 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 right. Ashraf says, sir, in NoSQL data only. No, it also stores semi-structured data. It also stores semi-structured data. It can store semi-structured data as well. Right. See, if you want to store structured data as well in NoSQL database, you can do that as well. But that is not the best practice. Right. 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 But now, large amount of unstructured, semi-structured data is stored, right, in NoSQL database. Documents, images, and so on. MongoDB. Right. Ashraf says why? Because relational database is designed to store the tabular format. Right. Tabular format data or tabular data. NoSQL database is designed to store unstructured or semi-structured data. That's it. Right. Now, the third type of database is column database or columnar database. Sometimes also people call it as column database. Column database. This is again very interesting. Column database. But yes, I will be very honest. I have not worked on column database. Right. I have worked on Parquet files. Right. Which has similar sort of data storage storage capability, but column database, right, here the data is stored in columns rather than rather than rows, making them making them making them well suited for warehousing and analytical analytical applications. Example: Amazon, Redshift, Redshift, Google BigQuery, but I have not used anyone. Google BigQuery, right? I haven't used any of this column database, but I can give you an intuition how the data is stored in column database. Very simple. It's very simple. So let's say as of now, how the data is stored. So let's say here you have some example. I will just give you an example. Let's say name. Here we have name. Then we have class. Then we have marks. Let's say marks. So name, let's say Ajay. Class 9. Marks, let's say 100%. So as of now, or let's say Bijay. Class 11, 102. Right. So as of now, whenever you work, the data is stored in a row format. So let's say SQL database. So how it will be stored? So Ajay, 9 and 100. This is the way data is stored. Then, or let's say this will be the first row. First row. Second row. Right. It will be Bijay, class 11, and let's say marks is 102. This is how data is stored. Be very careful, guys. Right. Right. No one will talk about these things in detail. Right. First row like this, second row like this, and this will be stored in the right database. This way it is stored. But when it so this is your SQL database. That is relational database. Relational. This is how the data is stored. But when it comes to column database, right? Column database, then what will happen in this case? This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Right? In this case, the data will be stored like this. Ajay, Bijay, Sanjay, right? Let's say this, right? Then class 9, 10, 11, something like this. Like this. Then we have marks, like this. Marks, 100, 102, 103, and so on. So the data will be stored like this. Now, can anyone answer me a very simple question? Which type of database, column database or relational database, will be very, very fast in mathematical computation? Can anyone answer this? Which will be very, very fast in mathematical computation? Right, right. Mixed answer. The correct answer is column database. Why? Let's say you want to calculate the average of marks, right? Then obviously the marks is all marks is together. We'll calculate the average. You don't need to first split, get the marks, and then calculate the average. So column database is faster. Column database, column database is faster in mathematical calculation. And this is the reason, or this is the advantage of column database. Right? Right? Got it? Yes or no? Everyone? Yes or no? So far, so good? Right? 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 Now, moving ahead, the next type of database is the fourth one, that is graph database. I have extensively worked on this graph database. I have extensively worked on this. I have put on my LinkedIn profile as well. Right. So this actually is used to right? Store and query graph structured data. Graph structured data. Right. Manax says where is used? Apache, Hadoop, etc. for big data. No. Oh yes. So for big data, you will find that mostly column databases is used. Right. Right. Coming to graph database, store and query graph structured data. What is the meaning of this? Right. So, have you ever seen social network connection? Network connection, right? Have you ever heard about this? Or let's say, have you ever heard about recommendation system? Recommendation system, recommendation system, right? So, what will happen? So, let's say here you are, Minuk. So, let's say here we have Minuk, right? Right, Minuk. Let's say Minuk is there, right? Minuk is connected to person P1. This is connected to P2. But let's say Minuk might not be connected to P5, but P5 is connected to P1, then P4, then P4 is also connected to Minuk. Something like that, right? Right. These type of things are stored in a graph database. Example, Neo4j. I have worked on this Neo4j. Right. I have also worked on ArangoDB. As of now, this is the most, the best performing database. ArangoDB, right? Arango database. Right. Yes, missed apology, Manak says. ArangoDB. We have Amazon Neptune. This is also a very good performing, database. Right. So Neo4j, ArangoDB, Neptune. I have worked on all of these three. Tiger Graph. It is a paid version, so I have not worked on this Tiger Graph. Right. Right. One more is there. So that works in the cache. Hmm. Graph implementation in Python. This is a framework, not exactly a database. Mhm. I'm just forgetting the name. Oh, I have just forgot the name, and if I just don't search this, Python Python graph database example. Oh, okay. I guess I'm not getting it. There is one. There is one name. I don't know if someone can help me. Neo4j is fine. There's one more name. So basically, what happens? Neo4j, ArangoDB, it doesn't work on cache, right? They work on disk. But Python has one implementation which works on the cache. So you can just implement that in notebook as well. Hmm, no, not Redis. How to solve a graph problem in Python. In Python, it is the recording is happening. Oh, cipher queries. It is fine. Hmm. Guys, I don't remember the name, but I have worked a lot on that also. Because for POC, I started working with that only. Neo4j. Graph traversal. So you guys should actually implement few things in that. This is some traversal, not dgraph. Neo4j, OrientDB, Genus DB, Nebula, Azure, Cosmos DB. It's a framework. Tiger graph is there. I already mentioned. Sorry guys. Sorry. I'm not able to. Last search framework. Sorry guys, I'm not able to find it. Right. But obviously, if I get the name, I will let you know, guys. But yeah, so Neo4j, ArangoDB, Noptune, Tygraph, all of these are graph database. Now, last one is key value database, right? The fifth one, key value database. So this is again another type of database. This is key value database. As the name itself suggests, what is this key value database? Name itself, Network X. I got the name. Oh my god, Network X. This was something I was missing. Network X. Very easy to implement. So just you search Network X, right? Network X documentation. Very easy in the Python implementation. See, network analysis in Python. So this is a framework in Python. This is a library, right? And this works on the cache. This is the advantage of this, right? Again, I cannot dive deep into this, but I love this, right? This is what I was searching for since no, since long. But anyway, so key value database, right, right, right. Again, very important, right? Key value database is very important and very useful in APIs, right? So data stores data as a collection of keys and value pair. Simple. Keys and value pair. Obviously you can understand that I am talking about JSON format or XML format, right? And why it does so, making them well suited well suited well suited for caching caching and simple data storage simple data storage needs. Example, simple Redis, Amazon Dynamo DB. So these are some examples of key value database. Now the point is which one to use, right? This always depends on the problem statement. I was lucky to solve a graph database problem. That's why I use this. I have solved NoSQL database problem. I was able to use MongoDB and SQL. MySQL is I have used many times. So you don't need to worry about that. But as a fresher, what you have to understand, what you have to learn, this is something very simple. You have to learn the SQL. That's it. There should not be any if and buts. You guys have to understand the relational database in detail. So that was all about types of database. In interviews also, this will be only asked. Right, 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 right. Now, guys, you might have understood so far, very good, but still, the doubt is still not clear. What is SQL? What is database? What is database management system, DBMS? We have not studied as of now, right? All the differences, and those are the basic things. So let's start, guys, now. So we have to focus on relational database, right? So our focus is now going to be on relational database. So we will start with very basic things, right? Jyoti says, sir, I have read about NoSQL. Right, that is very good, Jyoti. I have to know that as well. Please, you have to refer some external resources because we are going to cover basics of and basics and advanced of MySQL, not NoSQL. I will see if I can cover the basics of NoSQL, but that's not the part of our syllabus, and that is not asked in the interview as well. Always, questions will be asked from database. Questions will be asked from database management systems. Question will be asked from MySQL queries. Right? Okay. Should I move ahead now? Right. 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 Very good. Very good. So let's start, guys. Let's start. Right. So we are now going to start with relational database. Right. So now I will just write something. Movie ID here. Movie ID here. Let's say movie ID or movie name. Movie name. Right. Then we have director. Right. Then we have actor. Right. So what is the movie name? Can anyone suggest some movie name? Anyone? Movie name? Any suggestion? No one. Uh let's say uh my favorite Aman Rajvar says Siddharth Kantara. Three Idiots. So let's say Three Idiots. Three Idiots is a very famous Bollywood movie, but not my favorite because I find the teaching of Three Idiots, you know, absurd. So let's say director is Rajkumar Hirani. Rajkumar Hirani. Right. Right. And let's say actor is Amir Khan. Right. Right. Don't suggest 50 Shades of Grey or something like that. Okay. There are some Impossible, Chava. Right. Very good. So these are the details. So let's say this is the movie name, director, and actor. Now, guys, here answer me one very basic question. Till now, what do you call it as? This movie name or director or actor as right, movie name, director, and actor as columns. Very good. Or attributes. But as you move ahead in database, it is called as anyone fields. In database, you will call it as fields. Right. Generally, you call this Three Idiots, Rajkumar Irani, something like that. You call this as rows. But in database, you call it as records or tuples. In database, you call it as tuples. Right? Right? Right. So far, so good. Right? This table is nothing. A table is a relation. A table is a relation. Right. Now, one more thing, very important, number of records or number of tuples. Number of records or number of tuples. Number of records or number of tuples. Number of tuples. Number of tuples. It is called as cardinality of the relation. Cardinality of relation. Cardinality simple means number. Right. Table is a relation. Right. Number of records is cardinality of relation. Number of attributes or number of fields. Number of attributes slash columns slash fields. It is called as degree of relation. Degree of relation. Degree of relation. Right. If the values are not there, it can be called as null value. Very basic things. Very basic things. This is the structure of a relational table. Now, using this, I will move towards the database management system, right? And to understand the database management system, we have now enough understanding of a database. So a database looks like this. So let's say there is one database, something like this. So let's say there is this big database. This is your database. Let's say this is your database, right? This is your database. This is your database, right? This database is of name movies. Inside this database, we have different columns. Let's say movie name, movie info. We have cast info, cast info. Let's say you have revenue info. We have some other info. So what are these? These are tables. It will have different records and different rows. Different records, different rows. Different records, different rows. Right? Fine. Different records, different infos. Right? Not a problem. So this is your database. This you have defined. Let's say. Now, guys, answer me a very simple question. Very simple question. You have written Python code. Yes or no? Hello world. Print hello world. Print hello world. You have written print hello world. Yes or no? The question is very simple. Answer me. Where you have written this print hello world? You have written hello world. Where you have written the hello world? Where you have written the hello world? Everyone has to answer this. Where you have written the hello world? Right? 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 Answer it, guys. Answer it. Where you have written the hello world? You have written a hello world in some sort of a software called IDE called Jupyter Notebook. Yes or no? Similarly, you have made this table. So where you will make this table? How will you make this table? How will you make this table? How will you make this database? This database will be made using some software called DBMS. DBMS. Database Management System. Database Management System. Right. Right. This is a database. Right. This is your some software. So what is DBMS? If I have to define DBMS, then a database management system, DBMS is a software system that provides the interfaces and tools needed to store store organize organize and manage data in a database, in a database, in a database. Simple, right? So what is this? A database, some movies database you have made, right? But how will you make, or where you will make? Where you will make it in a database management system. So you will make this in a database management system. Now, fine. Similar to Jupyter Notebook or VS Code, can you give some example of database management system? What is the example of database management system? So now here you have, see here, we have a database here, database 1, database 1, we have database 2, database 2, we have database n. But how will you make this database, or where will you make this database? You will make this database using database management system. And one of the example of database management system is, one of the example of the database management system is MySQL. Another can be also there. SQL Server is also there. Oracle is also there. Right? Right. But MySQL is one of the, no, PyCharm will not act as a database management system. So database management system, we have MySQL, right? Right. So to be precise, MySQL Workbench, Workbench, simple. MySQL Workbench is one of the database management system. Now try to understand. This is very very important. If you have understood till here, you have understood a lot of things. You have understood a lot of things, because this is very very important, right? Right. Right. Very very important, very important, right? Very very important. Try to understand this. This is going to be very important. Now we have database management system where you have multiple databases. Now where will this database sit? Anyone has any idea? In your computer or in your machine, or where it will be, where it will exist in your database? That's the next question. Very important question, right? Very very, oh my god, what I did, guys, what I did, what I did, what I did. Anyone understood this? What I did? I actually had to paste this. All of my hard work now got destroyed. I cannot retry this. Anyone is making the notes out of it? Anyone is making notes out of it? This is so frustrating. Yaar. Anyone is making the notes out of it? Right. If anyone has made the notes, please do share. Please do share it with me, because I have to share with other people as well. Please share some PDF format or something like that if you have made it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. Actually, I don't know where I was. I was clicking here somehow. But anyway, database one, database two. नहीं undo नहीं होगा. There is no any undo option. I guess. No, there is no any undo option. But anyway, so here we have database one, database two, database three. Right. Now the question is, if we have database one, right, database two, database three, right, you can make it using database management system, that is MySQL Workbench. then this will be used by, let's say, user 1, user 1, user 2, user 3, and this will sit where? In operating system's hard disk of operating system. And that's why you might have seen a lot of time out of memory error. Why? Because all of these things are actually in the hard disk of operating system, and whenever it is full, you will get an error that this is done. But again, right, again, we have not understand it completely. Why? Why? So you know one thing, that you have some sort of DBMS system, database management system. That in our case is MySQL. Let's say in our case we have MySQL. Using DBMS, you have created a database, created a database, created a database, right? Created a database, right? Because already we have seen that this is a type of database. Okay, there is no movies database, if you remember. So you will create that movie database using this DBMS, database management system. But still, what is SQL? What is query? Right, right. So actually, to create a database, we need a language to do so. We need a language to do so. And the language is called as SQL, that is structured query language. In terms of Python, if I talk about, then this becomes, MySQL becomes your Jupyter notebook or VS Code, Jupyter notebook or VS Code. It becomes VS Code, right? SQL becomes Python, right? And created a database, it simply means programming code, or let's say code, or some function, let's say printing a star, printing a star, printing a star, right? And query is nothing but code. Please see this image because it will make the concept crystal clear. Santanu says, sir, MySQL server. No, it's not same. It is two different things. We will focus on MySQL. See this diagram again and again. Please, this is very important. I will repeat it again. Database management system, that is your MySQL. So I will show you how MySQL looks like. So this is your MySQL Workbench. This is your MySQL. This is called as query. Query is nothing but code, right? However, you are writing, this is sort of programming language that is called as structured query language, that is SQL or SQL. Both are correct. Either you say SQL or SQL. This is called as table. I will talk about this, how to make a table and all of those things. You don't need to worry about anything. But this is called as table. This is called as database. Learn SQL 1, if you see, is a database. Inside this database, we have two tables, students and superstore. Again, I will go to this, very important. Please look at it again and again. DBMS is MySQL Workbench. This is a software. This is called as DBMS system. One of the example is MySQL Workbench, similar to Jupyter Notebook and VS Code. Again, created a database. So how will you create a database? Using this MySQL Workbench, similar to writing a function or feature in Python, like a printing a star. Now, to print a star, we need a programming language, that is Python. In our case, that is structured query language. And this code that you have written is structured query language. And this one line is called as query. This is query. This is query, right? These all are query, similar to the line of code you write in Python. Is it clear now, everyone? Yes or no? Is it clear? Ever you will get confused in what is MySQL, what is DBMS, what is SQL, what is query, will you ever get confused? Yes or no? Will you get confused? Ever, ever, ever. Functions of DBMS, functions of DBMS. Today, this will be the last thing, right? Functions of DBMS. Only request is please install MySQL Workbench. Hope you guys have installed it. Rest everything I will do from scratch. You don't need to worry about that. Functions of DBMS. First, data management. It manages the data management. Then second, integrity, right? Because consistency will be there, right? And accuracy will be there, right? Third, transaction happens. Whatever modification you want in the data, there will be security. Already we have discussed this in the ideal database, right? We have already seen this, right? But I would request you guys that, right, I will request you to please install the SQL Workbench, right? So that will be all for today's class, right? Right, right. That will be all for today's